we're looking at 75, 80 big blinds effective. He raises to 2.5 big blinds. You decide to call in the big blind with 10-7 suited. Are you three betting these kinds of hands at all, or are you just simply playing a flat here?
So this goes to what I just said. Here I'm 100% calling. I would three bet my strong hands, and I would some suit like 8-7 suited, 7-6 suited. I would three bet, but 10-7 I would mainly just call. Just lower my three bet frequencies basically. What's kind of interesting is here, because he was playing a similar strategy to me actually. He was kind of limping his bad hands and raising his strong hands. Also, before that he was min raising, and now he had just, I think this is the second hand that he 2.5x. I don't know if it means anything. Maybe he just changed the strategy 5 minutes ago, but maybe it means something. But I just, because he was limping a bunch, I'm not gonna over attack his open raises. So no, 10-7 suited, I will just call basically.
Maybe he just saw that his opponent was just being a donkey and defending everything, so he realized he has to bump up the price of poker. Also, he's not getting three bet, so larger open sizes won't suffer as much from getting equity denial. I think it's pretty simple.
Absolutely.
I think everyone was on that page, man. I think no. Anyways, that's I should have had this prepared in the right order. That's pretty flop. Okay, so flop comes here. You check. He bets 6 million. You check raise 19 million. Thoughts on check call versus check raise here on the flop?
Again, so this is what I said earlier. He was kind of betting. So I think when he checked back, he had air too often, right? So this kind of, if you think of the other way, if he bets, he has a stronger hand more often. So I will always check raise with the top two, just get money into the pot basically. I was surprised that he called with king queen off, to be honest. This kind of goes into the decision later on. I didn't think he would have this percent, but this kind of supports why check raising here is important in my opinion.
Is this kind of thinking something that you use in the higher roller tournaments as well, or is this really like main event focused thinking? Because
no, this is.
I feel like this is not the way that I would hear most players that have sort of your history of results talk about poker. Are you just getting fully? You're just diving into this is the main event. We're going to suspend reality.
I'm a street poker player.
Street poker player. Okay, so we're taking to the streets.
But no, of course I'm playing. I'm playing a bit differently, of course, and against somebody who's not a heads-up professional, of course. Okay, and I think that's important.
Fair, totally fair. I mean, obviously, check raising, if you had to pick a decision, is the better play, right? I mean, you have top two, raising top two is good, but I call every now and then, not the worst. Okay, so you check raise. He decides to float king queen no heart. You were surprised by that. I'm also kind of surprised by that. Seems a little bit loose, but it sort of seems in, I feel like most years in the main event final table, there were guys that get there and they get there by just kind of fighting people tooth and nail and not being willing to give up on pots and sort of put people in tough situations, make you have to earn it. And so I'm not too surprised to see him make this decision based off of the hands we've seen from him, but certainly a bit of a loose call without a heart. The turn makes things very interesting. So you check raise 10-7 to 19 million. He calls. Turns a king, so he turns top pair. 2 flush draws on the board now. We're looking at a pot that's something around. Is on the screen somewhere? I don't think so. But okay, so before you bet, it was about 85-90 million. So 85-90 million. And
no, actually, no, because they both bets are in there already. So it's like 50 million, I think. No, right?
Oh, okay, that makes sense. So yeah, so you bet
million in there.
You bet 2/3 pot. What are your thoughts here on the turn?
I think it's. Tell me if I'm wrong. I think it's pretty interesting decision because I have kind of a cool hand to check jam, and of course I have kind of a cool hand to bet because. So I think it's pretty close. I would say both options are possible. I'm not 100% sure.
I think normally solvers tend to like geometric sizing in spots like this. So
yeah.
I also have found in a bunch of stuff I've run that double flush draw boards tend to like even bigger sizes on the turn than other boards. So
I kind of messed this up. He had, I mean, this is I was thinking a lot in that hand, but apparently even not enough, right? Like, so
I think sometimes you just gotta slow down, man. Slow down, take your time, think about your decisions. Anyway, but I obviously this is a completely fine line. When you have good hands, typically you want to value bet. Betting should be your main line of the turn. I do think check raise is going to get in there a bunch, and it is a nice line to take because obviously you unblock all of the bluffs, and then also you block a lot of the hands that are just trying to show down.
Exactly.
So it has a bunch of properties that make it nice for the double check raise, but I also think that just betting again is totally fine. There's a lot of hands that are going to consider floating again, right? You're going to have 9-8, Jack 9 just picked up a double gutter. Either flush draw is certainly possible. He's not going to fold a 10. He's certainly not going to fold if you turn to king. He might continue with some sevens in this spot. Realistically, that could happen. Maybe at this point he feels like he needs to lay those down, but that's also possible. So I think that there's a very good chunk of hands that continue here. And yeah, I think this is good. I think it's fine overall. Obviously, I think his decision at this point is just a no-brainer. You're clearly calling turn, so seems good.
Yeah.
Okay. And we have a little bit of a spoiler here with the arms up celebrating. Guys, spoiler alert. Koray won the main. Oh, I hate to break it to everybody. It's just brutal spoilers in the pod. Okay, so this is where things I think get really interesting. You check. Well, let's start off with that. What are your thoughts on options on the river here for you?
Yeah, so again, this is, I think, very close between some options. So this is totally player specific now, why I think check is better, and I still think check is better against him. I feel like I'm not getting hero card, basically. He did make some laydowns earlier with like top pair kind of hands in way smaller pots. So yeah, I feel like if I jam myself here, he might fold a hand like king queen, and there aren't many. So pre-flop, I don't think he has 10-7. I don't think he has 10 deuce or 7 deuce really, because he was limping that kind of hands. So, and if I don't get caught by one pair, then I kind of have a problem with that when I'm value jamming myself with 2 pair. Plus, he was kind of bluffing a decent amount. So I'm just thinking, yeah, check has to be better against him. And yeah, basically my decision is, okay, I'm going to check call.
Did you think at all about a block bet in this spot?
A little bit. I don't know. Yeah, again, I kind of wanted him to, but I don't know if do you think a block bet makes that much sense in that spot? Maybe. I don't know. I was mostly like I thought he had a little bit less left. I thought I don't really want to have a block betting strategy in that spot. Okay. I don't know if it's
yeah, that's kind of reasonable. It's a weird river because even though 3 straights complete, neither player should really have them that much. I mean, maybe you have a little queen jack with a heart, and maybe he has a little queen jack with a heart too, but neither one of you should really have jack 8 or 8-6 unless it's also a flush draw. So
yeah. I mean, with a flush draw, it's of course possible. Yeah.
Yeah, but I'm just saying it's not a very large number of combos. So even though that now we have 3 straights, they're actually not that threatening. So I feel like I would be inclined to try and get some value here mainly, but yeah, I feel like it should probably be some kind of value bet. I don't know. Maybe it's too thin.
Yeah, I
That's
think
close.
I assume in the solver it's mostly like bet yourself. But for the reasons I mentioned earlier, I think against him it's nicer to check. And then of course it's a reasonable question. Why did I take that long then when my plan was to check call and to actually check call? I don't know, man. It was a huge spot, right? Kind of.
Well, so just before we talk about your check call, this is a really puzzling bluff from him here. This is a very puzzling bluff because when you have top pair, you're going to win a lot when you go check check. Because if you have a hand like Jack 9 or 9-8, this is going to be a very common line that you take. If you have a hand like, let's say you check raised a weaker king on the flop, maybe king X of hearts or something, you hit a king, this is going to be the line that you take. Let's say that you just had ace 4 hearts and you don't think this is a good bluff combo. This is going to be a line that you take. And then most of the better hands, most of those hands are going to fold. So is this a value bet or a bluff? What do you think?
I think he thought he had the best hand. I mean, you said you want to bet 2 pair yourself, right? So if he thinks that way too, I mean, if he thinks he always has the best hand, kind of, then it's a fair thin value bet. I think against the way like the heads up was going, it's too thin of a value bet, which shows my tank with 10-7. But yeah, I think he thought he had the best hand. I think he wanted it to be over, kind of. I think that was the main thinking. To be honest, yeah, I haven't talked to him about the hand since. We just had a brief chat, so I don't know for sure. But yeah, I don't think he was bluffing.